This is BearEbike Russell Ultimate. And this will be short tutorial for beginners starting their adventure in the world of e-bikes. It is common that on the start we got some questions. We don't know how to set up many things in our vehicle properly to have comfortable position and smooth ride. Today I will show you the way how I do it, how I adjust many things, what I experienced and is comfortable for me. I will start with the seat height. It may be lower in winter and in mountains. Generally it should be low enough so you can be able to support with your feet on the ground and also easily to pedaling. As you can see right now, there is some space that I can lower the seat, but in my case it's working okay for me when it's on this position. I understand the lower center gravity is fine, but you shouldn't hide your ears with your knees. Seat angle. In my case the back of the saddle is slightly down, so when I sit on it with hands on the handlebar, I'm not sliding forward and backward. This is so obvious but often underestimated to set it up well and not to slide. Also I prefer to be more to the front on this small slider. Try to correct that for yourself to not slip from the seat. Relation of the seat height to the handlebar. I like when it's clearly visible when the seat is lower. That gives you a relaxed upright position. Regarding to the position and geometry. For example, my Ohlins DH38 M.1 can be adjusted in few ways. There is even different part for it when you want it much shorter. I prefer the tallest setup, and in this case Ohlins is higher than, for example, Bomber 58 and much higher than D&M USD8. Also the size of the wheels matters. Now I have 21 inch in the front and 18 inch rear rim. So if you will install 19 inch front rim, the handlebar will be lower than compared to the 21 inch wheel size in the same suspension. By the way, speaking about front wheel size, motorcycle 21 inch doesn't fall into every hole, giving better riding confidence at rocks, but on the other hand it feels noticeably heavier for suspension compared to 19 inch. Motorcycle wheels give us reliable feel at high speeds, but because of its weight, soon I will be testing bicycle 26 inch, which will be much lighter. I think it will be great for rough terrain, but I am not sure how it will work at high speeds. If the front wheel and fork is tall, the bike stands in different position than having small wheels and short suspension. After changing the wheel from 19 to 21 inches, it was very noticeable that the weight moved to the rear. The position changed and the damper itself began to work in a different way. We can say when front is higher, it is better for downhill, but it can be worse for fast cornering. Anyway, personally, I prefer to not lean forward on my bike. And this leads us smoothly to the handlebar and setting it up. It is very important for the comfort of driving to pay attention to it and match the parts that suits us best. Bicycle handlebar stumps vary. They can be higher and extended farther. Handlebars can vary a lot. Few times I saw huge guys with narrow handlebars struggling with position, looking too big on their e-bikes. In such case, you can easily buy handlebar which has, for example, 3-inch rise and can be 80 centimeters wide. Brake lever setting. I brake mainly with one finger and I'm used to driving with my index finger on the brake lever almost all the time. See how far the brake is installed from the grip. This gives me opportunity to have the most braking power. My brakes levers are slightly down. It gives me the ability to quick finger grip regardless climbs, going downhill or doing wheelies. I have super tip for you. Slightly looser bolts from brakes and throttle on the handlebar. In this case, when you fall over, your lever hitting the ground or everything else is able to move instead to be damaged. Brakes and throttle must be able to move, but not too easily, so they do not shift while riding. Suspension hardness and initial deflection. It is a very individual matter depending on the driving style and personal needs. I recently installed Ohlins suspension and I am still adjusting it for myself. Currently in the front, I think I will deflate slightly pressure to make it a bit more soft. When riding in rough terrain, jumping and standing a lot on the pedals, you should set the hardness and initial deflection totally different way than when driving on a flat terrain sitting mainly on the saddle. This thin ring is to help you how much of travel you used during your ride. In general, it is huge topic and I will not deep into it much right now. The front sprocket is not regular size. I mean, it is not perfect circle. So in different way of travel, your chain tension will be also different. So chain should be tightened maximum way, but still should work easily. If you are adjusting the tension of the chain, your rear wheel goes to the front and to the back. After all, make sure that the brake caliper is well positioned in relation to the brake disc. The brake pads should rub their entire surface against the brake disc. If you adjust brake caliper, it should be perfectly in the middle compared to the brake disc. Frequent question is, do I need to pedal and why? No, I do not need to do it, however I like it. And also it looks more like bicycle going through the park near people. My current front sprocket is 40T and rear is 18T. With these settings I can pedal up to speed of 25 to 30 km per hour maximum. This is compromise when you can pedal to higher legal speed for the bicycle and go home without power only on your legs. Earlier I had 48T front and 12T rear and I could pedal more or less to 45 km per hour, but it was almost not possible to go back home without electric assistance. So this 40T and rear 18T seems to be reasonable for me. Air pressure in the tires. I pump depending on the conditions from 1.5 bars of pressure to 2.5. For example, in mountains when it rains all the time and I suppose there will be madness, or for snow, I set a lower pressure. If I care about the range and making far distance, like for example we were going to the seaside, then I pump higher pressure. At low pressure, the rolling resistance is high and it's easy to damage rims, especially if it's not strong enough produced by a good manufacturer. When pressure is high, you feel a lot more bumps on the handlebar, and in slippery conditions it is much easier to fall down. Usually I go with more or less 1.8 front and 2.0 in my rear wheel. Few things on the end you may want to remember. Charge your battery after rides. Do not leave battery discharged for longer time because it is constantly working because of BMS, which is responsible for balancing our cells in the battery. This leads us to super important point. Recharge your bike once a week, maybe two, because BMS eats our power slightly all the time, so after longer period of time our battery can be damaged when left for its own. When charging, firstly put to the socket charger and after that insert the plug to the bike. Our motors do not like water. It is easy to damage the motor if water gets into the motor near the shaft because there is a sealing simmering. Yes, I know it's dirty. It could be better for this movie, but I prefer to ride it instead of cleaning it. I recommend to have with you all the time most important wrenches. If you wake up with loose handlebar in mountains, you are f***ed up. Or maybe not, because for sure you will meet somebody who can help you. But, you know, anyway, better count on yourself. From time to time, check most important bolts like this from suspension, handlebar, rear wheel, and are the spokes properly tightened. From time to time, lubricate freewheel, chain and elements with bearings. Don't mess with the rear wheel, chain and brake when you have the system on. Do not put your helmet on the right handlebar side, avoiding hitting the throttle by coincidence. Please give me your thoughts. What's also important for you for your riding performance and such adjustments? It would be great if you could consider subscribing my channel and giving me a like. See you soon, bye!